Hi guys, hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ada, your online therapist. Welcome to part 2 of the beauty blogs on identity, guys. Thank you for staying with me on this journey. I'm your student therapist here to teach you the simple ways we interact with this nugget of hair and the environment. All right, so let's get into it. So guys, in my previous video, I was trying to build up an argument or present the case for how we build identities. Now that I've hoped that if I should summarize, we build identities as it benefits us. Identities are built to protect us, okay? Our bodies, our brains, by nature, we are self-preservative first. Self-preserve first before team. Okay. Now, when it comes to choosing identity, who you are, it could be I'm Nigerian of Igbo ancestry. Okay. I can't just come out and say I'm no longer Igbo by DNA and all that. However, even if I say I'm no longer Igbo, I could change my name, probably work on my accent, and never identify with anything Igbo by culture. The question now becomes, what will you pick? You see, as humans, we don't exist in a vacuum. Basically, if you're not black, you're white or yellow or brown. The colors are so varied, I don't even know who comes up with these colors. But there's a lot of redefining terms, just like when someone says, I am not a he, I'm not a she, I'm an it, or I'm me. Take OJ Simpson. I'm not black, I'm OJ Simpson. Yeah, good luck with that. So we're redefining terms because we're really changing things up. We don't want to be bound by group theory or group think anymore. That's what happens when people say, I am not a he, I'm not a she, I am not black, I'm OJ. Identity, whether or not we like it, okay? Here, it makes me laugh sometimes when we try with our conscious wokeness to change evolution. And evolution just railroads us like an idiot on a train track. Yeah, not a formidable force, wouldn't you say? How do I put it? You can say all you want, do all you want, but you see the body, the chemistry inside of you, your chemicals, your hormones, all the glands, all the enzymes, okay? All the good bacteria and bad bacteria, good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Everything, your pituitary glands, your dendrites, your axon, your entire makeup, okay? If you like, draw a wolf and paste it on your face. Evolution is not like internet, it's not like technology, it's not fast and changing. Some evolutions that happen in the human body happen hundreds, if not million years ahead or through. The fact that we have a tailbone says we used to have a tail. We can't even trace that to 1,000,000 or 1,000 years. Okay, so that's what I mean by evolution. The fastest evolution that's happening in the human race is what's up here, okay? But the chemistry, it's showing up in the chemistry probably 3-4 generations down the line. It doesn't mean that just because it's happening up here, it's not. No, as a man thinketh, so is he. So the evolutionary changes that are happening in our minds are changing our body chemistry, and that's why when you have a what they call a suicidal parent, there's a 50% chance, or 53 I believe, that you will have a child who is suicidal. So you've introduced it into that cycle, unless of course you work on it. But also medically, if you have parents who have diabetes, and so the diet or the habit of diabetes was introduced into the home, so it would take a generation or 2 or 3, if not more, to evolve it out of the family again, depending on how disciplined and consistent those who come after take, health, and all that. All right. What is the purpose of all I'm saying? Culture changes as people are influenced. And how are we influenced? If you look in the mirror, like, let me take myself an example. I have a beautiful smile. Yes, I'm going to blow that trumpet. I've been told I have a beautiful smile. Now, I don't look at myself in the mirror and say, yeah, you got a great smile. It's like, yeah, and you walk out. It's often having interacted with people, it's like, oh, wow, you have a beautiful smile. You have lovely skin. And then you look and like, oh, thank you. You see, interacting with people, it's a feedback. You have a large forehead. You've got nice eyelashes. Oh, you've got a nice skin. Interaction tells you, oh, you're a black person, as opposed to, oh, there's white, there's brown, there's yellow. So it's like, oh. Now, this seems a bit, maybe not the most solid example, but now put that in context where someone who has never been outside of their community. Take your village boyfriend who has never been outside the four walls of his obonna or his village, and he comes to Lagos. Hey, Lagos is full of flyovers. Okay, Onitsha. Okay, Onitsha is full of flyovers. We have flyovers in Onitsha. Okay, or someone who's like, wow, the streets of California are so beautiful and clean. Now, not to make jest of it, but it's just to say, when you're not used to something, your eyes, your brain starts to take in new information and file it and process it. And here's the thing, here's another good example. If I give you an apple and it tastes like an orange, you're going to spit it out. Not because you don't like orange or you prefer apple, but that does not align with what I have in what my brain, the information my brain has stored about this fruit. This experience does not align. So what is this? Is this some prank? Did you stuff an apple inside an orange and, or if I gave you a strawberry, if I told you to close your eyes and I gave you a strawberry, if you've tasted a strawberry before, you're going to like, that's a strawberry. If you open your eye and that's a lemon, you're going to spit it out quickly because it doesn't align with the information your brain has stored. All right. Let's bring it down to identity. Okay. You identify yourself by the feedback you've already gotten. You remember 0 to 7 is an imprint period for kids. So you're getting feedback about your race, your ethnicity, the language you speak, where you're from, who your father is, who your great-grandfather is, your family accomplishments, the struggles of your race or your ethnicity or your group or your color or your race or your country. Everything has been downloaded 0 to 7, okay? Kids are information highway from 0 to 7. Now, as you, and if you look at it, you always have kids come back and say, that's Molly's parents didn't say that, didn't do that. There's my classmate says so and so and so and so, because they're exchanging information, they're learning. Now, if you isolate your kid away from others, they're going to be experts at your information, but very, very ignorant when they come out to the outside world, because they've not exchanged information, they've not shared, they've not filtered. You see, when you look at something, you just see one picture, but actually both your eyes have to have half of a picture and put it together for your eyes, your brain to interpret it as one image. Okay? If you cover one eye, you only see like a panoramic view that cuts off where the other eye can see. When the other eye also, but they overlap. That's why it looks like you're seeing one view, because of the overlap of scenery. All right? This is what happens with culture and identity. When you're in your home, your family, that is one-sided view. as you interact with your teachers at school, at church, at the playground, at the bus station, political or library or anything, when you socialize, it influences your view. Your brain begins to put things together. This is a social norm. This is a cultural norm. This is a requirement. This is acceptable. This is not acceptable, and so on. When you look at all that, as you develop, you begin to piece your identity based off of the fragments of ideologies, philosophies, and concepts that you've been gathering as a young person. All right. That's why I say define yourself in any way you like. Evolution will always railroad you, run you over if you disrespect or ignore it. All right. That's why oftentimes people are, when people say men and women are the same, stop that nonsense. We're not. Okay. We're not. The chemistry involved in making a woman and a man are so different that you are disrespecting the person that made you. And I'm not even talking about your parents, okay? If very simple, men have more blood by volume than women. Women use both hemispheres of the brains at once. Men compartmentalize. So on a biological level, on a chemical level, we're so different. So why are you saying we're the same? Because you believe it. This evolution, it will take another 100 years before it translates. That is if it is being sustained and maintained by subsequent generations. That is why it's like, oh, generation of nowadays are so different. The people that will come after your children, if they don't believe in the value system or the construct, the cultural constructs or the social norm that your children pass down to them, they're going to flip it on its head again. Okay. And that's why sometimes you look at a child or you listen to children, it's like, you're an old soul. It means they align with the old system. They find it valuable. And these are the people that would bring about continuity of that value system or culture or concepts. So when we talk about culture, you can understand how identity is not something, identity is so volatile, but not, it's stable. I wouldn't say volatile. Identity changes, but it is stable. Stable because the image that is formed is unique. It's an image, it's not fragments scattered about that, it's stable, like a solid. If I look at a lamp, which is right in front of me, I'm looking at a lamp. It's a lamp. It's a solid form, all right? But it took two images for me to have that singular view. So your identity is stable, but it's constantly changing. You're smart, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're unique, you're eccentric, you're egotistical, you're narcissistic, you're sarcastic. All that fragments. We use it, some embellish, some self-deprecating, some, with what you interact with people, hangover from a bad relationship, grateful for a great family support system. All these kind of form your identity. That's why they say learning is for kids, unlearning is for adults. Now, it doesn't mean adults don't learn, okay? But it's almost like each one of us, we are constantly picking. We're so biased to confirm what we know, what we want, that we reject any view that is counterintuitive, that counters the philosophies or ideologies that we hold dear. But you see, to grow, to develop, to become better, to improve. You see, the beauty of science is testing of theories and hypotheses, such that if you present a hypothesis, it must be testable. That means if you can test your hypothesis, I should be able to test it. The people coming after us 10, 20, 50 years after, that's what makes it a solid theory, okay? We can test it. Now we have more information, we test again, it holds. More information, we test again, it holds. So many philosophers Freudian, and so on. Many of what they held as strong hypotheses have been thrown out the window because it no longer holds with addition uh, of of facts or information or new data. Now, culture. Some people want culture to stay even when new data says it no longer holds. Girl child education, female genital mutilation, the killing of twins. New data has made that old construct irrelevant. Okay? Women are only good for the kitchen. New data has already made that information or that ideology extinct. So forcing the new generation to hold on to old identity profiles is going to be a very difficult hill. That's why when we talk about culture, identity, building blocks, there's so many things. The current environment, the current what's it called? The state of the national social environment, as well as the state of the personal environment. There's a group level and there's an individual level to every way in every way form identity. Once you have confidence in yourself and your abilities, you have something you can hold on and say, yes, this is me, I can do this. You're not so easily swayed by an outsider telling you you're nobody, you're no good at anything. You have evidence that can support the theory, the hypothesis that you can do something. And every time a task is thrown at you, you're able to deliver. Okay? That is your group level. That is your individual level. The group level comes around and says, everything you are, 10, 20, 1,000 of us, 10,000 of us, 2 million of us have that same identity. So you're good. You're not a one-hit wonder. Okay? You're a real, you're a class, you're a society with us. Okay? So deciding how you form your identity, who you are, who you want to be. There are a lot of people walking with identity crisis because they're holding on to ingredients, materials that are not helping them build their identity. In fact, a lot of people whose identities are stagnated, there are a lot of people who have no identity. Worst case scenario, married women who can't say anything without the missus in front of their name. Outside the missus, there's nothing else about them. Their neighbors can't say they do anything or they are good for anything. Not because as a human they are not, but they've not developed their identity beyond a single notion. So the idea that when take parents, they want to mold their children, I would say tread lightly, because your ideologies only pass on strong ideologies and let those ideologies be open to retesting. Okay? There is no sense in strongly holding on to the ideology that you must marry someone of my tribe. What if your child is called up to NASA or the Hubble telescope or something, and they're over here in California? And there's no, I'm not saying someone of someone of your tribe is not there, and having to go back is not a possibility. Then you bring someone who they don't know, have never met, have no shared ideology, just because you want to continue that culture. You're going to have a very tough time making them agree, or just they might probably end up with a very terrible marriage. But that's on a far spectrum. The whole idea is, when you understand what makes up identity, what builds identity, you understand how first affects the environment. Make sure you're making your child open-minded, growth-minded, okay, to be able to challenge the ideologies, to be able to retest philosophies, to be able to say, okay, what used to work no longer works. Why? Okay, you want to hold on to the cores, to the basics, to the building blocks, so that you can always make a different building. It's like when certain buildings are torn down and certain buildings are put, say this place is only good for residential, this place is only good for commercial. Maybe due to more technology or engineering, what was once only good for commercial building can now take what was only good for a residential building can now take commercial build. Okay, so the same way we also need to understand that we as humans we're a living system. All right, we're a living system. The foods we eat now, is it working for us, especially black people? Okay, everyone is always talking about fried chicken, fried this with mayonnaise and bread over it, and God swipe right, and you're like, are you healthy? All the fads, all the trends, are they healthy? Are they helping us prosper? Are they helping us move on to the next generation? Are we pushing more diabetes kids into the new generation? Are we building more narrow-minded politicians? Are we developing more close-minded teachers? Are we developing more hostile workers in the work environment? Let's look at the results that we're getting from our um, ideologies that we've held on to so strongly. All right. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging on with me. I could go on and on and on. You can see how divergent and how changing these topics are, but it's been a pleasure. And I will see you guys on my next topic. Until then, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.